white figure. It was a little girl. And when I paused, I froze. The chills that ran through my body, dude.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to the channel again, Project Feel Good. The channel is basically built around spooky stories, paranormal investigations, mental health, and really just talking about anything, conspiracy theories. I mean, you name it, just anything. And that's what I made the channel for. And hopefully you guys are liking the content. You guys are enjoying what we're putting out. There's lots of stuff coming, so with that being said, guys, we'll get straight into episode 4 of the podcast portion of the channel. Today's guest is going to be Mr. David Garcia. And with that, appreciate everybody from joining. Let's get right into it. Our kids are going to be reading about us. Cool. Well, shoot, man. I appreciate you getting on the show with me. Appreciate you joining and letting me call you.
Yes, sir.
I know you're a busy man. You got a newborn baby and and
Yeah.
a family and stuff like that. So I do appreciate you taking some time out of your day to jump on the show with us and just kind of talk over some stuff with me.
Yeah, well, I appreciate the call, and we've been waiting for this for about 3 weeks, maybe.
Yeah.
Could take longer.
Well, I mean, we have been talking about getting you on the show for a while too, but man, it's so hard. People's schedules are difficult, and then I live out here in Roswell, New Mexico, so it's everybody that I know and I talk to personally live in Texas or somewhere else, so it's really difficult to get people up here without me traveling to them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man, trust me, I would, especially, that it's gonna be, New Year's already. I would have loved to have made a trip up there.
Well,
It
next
would have
time,
been good.
next time I have to invite you. Or if you guys are
Yeah,
still want to, you're more than welcome to come out. We don't really have anything going on for New Year's.
yeah, that would be awesome.
Let me know. Let me know,
Yeah,
bro.
yes, sir.
Cool. Well, obviously, as you know, the reason why I wanted to call you, we've been talking about getting you on the show for quite some time. I know you said you had quite a few spooky stories from the old house you guys used to live in and
Yes,
stuff like
sir.
that. So tell me a little bit about some of those stories, man.
So the house that we used to live in, mind you, what this was, sixth or seventh grade. I think it's around seventh grade. So what? We're typically about 12 years old, 13. No, about 11, 12. That house, it was in the part of downtown Plainview, and this house was built in the early 1900s. So just to give a quick backstory on it, and it was, I don't know who built it, but the old man that owned it, whenever we moved in, he told us that it was a big house, that they had a lot of parties, a lot of this, a lot of that going on in the 20s and 30s, and a lot of crazy stuff was happening. Well, it all started, I want to say, probably within the first 3 months of us living there. So I at that time, you're you're a kid. You wanna be bad. You want to stay up. You want to defy your parents. Well, that night, this is one of the experiences. That night, I was kind of mean to my mom. Go to the room, lay down, and it's like people describe, I guess, lucid dreaming or astral projection. But this, the music started playing on my radio really loud, and it was like real demonic, like super heavy metal. And I felt like my blankets contort, like my body, or you know, like if you were heat shrink to it, everything was pressed around your body perfectly. And there was a black figure standing over me, real evil, and it said, "I'm coming back for you." And it was scary. I woke up, I ran out of the room, and I was freaking out. My radio was still playing, but it was quiet, and that was like the main first one. That was real scary. And then, so I stopped sleeping in the room, so I started sleeping in the living room, and my room was literally right next to the living room. And I would stay up real late still. I hated, honestly, I hated sleeping at night because I was just so scared already about that house. Well, one night I was in the living room, sitting there watching TV real quiet. My sister had a room upstairs, and mind you, this is the house from, like I said, the early 1900s. So those wood stairs, if you've ever been in an older house, you're gonna know how old wood stairs are gonna sound creaking.
Yeah.
I was up, and I just start hearing, it creaking as if somebody's walking. And I peek to my left. There is a black figure walking down the stairs, and you can hear this. Every step it takes, you can hear the stairs creaking. And I'm just like, oh my god. I'm thinking to myself, is this real? And the thing is, you know, a lot of people talk about the witching hour from 3 to 4. Well, this was like 3:30, 3:45, and that figure was just slowly walking down the stairs, walking across, walk through the living room, and then just disappears. Man, I was freaked out. I was freaked out. All right, fast forward to maybe like another couple of days later. It was about 3:15, 3:20, somewhere around there. Uh, I've always been a big fan of ESPN, so I was watching ESPN. I hear I hear something outside in the living room, and mind you, this living room has probably about 6 or 8 big windows, and I hear like something tapping on the glass. Well, you know, I should have already learned from the first time or the first couple of experiences in that house. Hey man, there's something crazy going on. I open the blind, and there's a red eye looking right back at me. And I mean, I got chills and I froze. I left the blind open with my 2 fingers, and I was just looking at it. It was looking at me. I closed the blind, I panic, and I open it again, and it's gone. The red eyes are gone,
Holy crap.
dude. I mean, it was like constant. After those first couple of times, it was just constant with things. So, um, and this is, mind you, this was happening around the summertime. You know, and that's why I say, I stay up late. Because obviously I didn't have school, didn't really care, and I just hated sleeping at night. That house was just so scary. I hated sleeping at night. Well, another time I was laying on, since I made my my room the living room for that little while, I was laying on the sofa, and I was watching TV again. And mind you, from the living room goes straight into the kitchen, and it was a big doorway. I want to say it was probably man, about 6 or 8 feet wide, the doorway, and about 8 to 10 feet tall. The thermostat was right there, and I heard something, and I looked to the right, and I see a white figure, and I didn't really like pay attention. I thought it was my dad. I was like, "Hey, dad," and I paused. I thought it was my dad messing with the thermostat. I paused. It was a little girl. Now this time it was a actual white figure. It was a little girl. And when I paused, I froze. The chills that ran through my body, dude. I'm getting chills right now describing it because I can just still remember that, and it was scary. I got quiet, man, and I I just slowly turned and put the blanket over my head, and I was just panicking. I was praying. I started praying.
Yo, I would have prayed too, man. And
Yeah, that,
for context, is this a house you guys used to live in, the one that I used to go to, or is this a different house before that one?
no, this is a different one before that one. You see, in that other house that you went to, that one, the people that lived there before us used to do satanic rituals there at that house.
Really? How'd you guys figure that out?
So a couple months after we moved in at that house, um, somebody was like, "Oh man, you got that house? So and so used to live there, man. You need to watch out. They used to do crazy shit." And we were like, "What do you mean crazy shit?" And that's when I was about 14, 15. And somebody told my parents, "Yeah, man, they used to do satanic rituals, and they used to do this and used to do that. You got to watch out with them, man. Those people are kind of thrown off." And that house, man, that one, I had a couple of experiences, but nothing like the one at the downtown 2-story old house. We lost. I lost my dog in that first house, the old 1900s house. That's what I was going to tell you too. Get to that. That's how we just figured something was really weird about that house, because we had three dogs and all three of them got sick randomly, and my dog happened to be the one to die. My parents, they took the dog to the vet, and I forgot what was wrong with it, but after that the dog was okay. But we would go to a certain room, and your head would start getting light, you get dizzy, and this room was probably always 20 to 30 degrees colder than any other room. It was bone chilling in that room, and that was one of the rooms where the dogs would stay, and that's where my dog died.
It, sound, it sounds like something happened in that room that those dogs didn't want to go into.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And I've tried to explain that to people, but you have a lot of your non-believers. People are like, "Oh man, that's not real." And I'm like, "Man, it's not real to you because you've never experienced it." My mom has stories from when she grew up in a house. Same with my grandpa. Uh, it had a big old wraparound porch, and the cat they would hear a car drive up, door close, and hear footsteps on the wraparound porch, and the cat would follow the footsteps, and then the footsteps would stop. There's nobody out there. There's no car.
Good God,
Yes.
that sounds crazy, man. And your mom and your grandpa used to live in this house too, like before you guys were born, or
Yeah, yeah. Well, this one's out of town. It's in a if it's even still a little place. It's called Flomont. It's just right there north of Lockney, northeast of Lockney.
okay? I don't think I've ever heard of it, but I mean I know where
Yeah,
Lockney is.
yeah, yeah. It's that house is since then it's been torn down, but my grandpa has stories of it. My mom does. They've experienced a lot. That house, I think my mom, they said that she was sleepwalking and she was laughing and being real weird, and my mom doesn't remember it. It's just a lot like that.
Dang, man, that sounds like a house I would go do an investigation at.
Oh yeah, well at least the farmland, because a lot of that right there, since it's around the Cap Rock, that's a lot of Native American stomping grounds, man.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, the house that I went and investigated recently, the haunted hill house. That's some of the
Hmm.
backstory on that house. So I guess according to some of the documents that they've found there in town and in the house, apparently, well, way back before the town was even built, there was like a lot of like Indian tribes that lived on that land. And then when settlers and people came, they ran a lot of those Indians off, but they also killed a lot of them. And there was like battles and stuff like that on the property. And there were some
Yeah,
caves behind the house that some of the Indians used to live in and stuff like that. So there was very similar to that, right? A bunch of like Indian background and stuff like
yep.
that, and people dying. So it's always those stories or that background about like Indian. I joke about this, but Indian burial grounds and stuff like that. Those are the ones that get you.
Yeah, well, if you didn't know, Plainview, if man, all them years ago, I remembered it, but every now and then, slips my mind. But Plainview was one of the biggest sites for a buffalo slaughtering from because of the running water draw, and also, if I'm correct, something that they don't teach you, there was a lot of Indians killed too during that buffalo slaughtering.
Really?
Yes, yeah, there. I know when I was younger, they had it at that museum here in Plainview, the Llano Estacado Museum.
I
or
don't think
now I think it's called the Jimmy Dean Museum.
I don't think I know it. To be honest, I didn't even know that Plainview had a museum. To be honest,
Yeah, surprising Plainview has anything.
I mean it's a pretty small town, but I mean, I guess it's not that far fetched because Roswell's probably very similar in size, and I mean they've got a UFO museum, they've got another museum. There's quite a few things to do here, so these little smaller towns are starting to get bigger and grow, and the type of things that they have there. And I don't remember Plainview being that small. I mean, they had some stuff, but
Yeah, well, yeah, it's a dying town, man. It is. And uh my dad's shop, that I think that one's haunted too. If I'm gonna be honest with you, me and my sister talked that maybe you should go check it out, maybe one of these days after hours if you're ever in the area, because my dad has caught orbs on the cameras. He said he even caught the face of the previous owner there on camera, right after the old man passed away.
okay, so the previous owner died then.
Yes, yeah, 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 yeah. And I want to say maybe like 3 days later or a week later, my dad saw like the figure of that old man and could make out the face on his camera.
Ooh, that's creepy. Yeah, I mean that makes sense though. Like if it was the old man's shop and he passed away, like if that's like all he knew most of his life, maybe that's where he went back to. And
Yeah.
it's crazy that you tell me that because so I have a family member who works in water utilities,
Uh-huh.
and he was telling me a story about basically he showed up to work really early, him and another guy, and I think he said they were the first ones there, and he said the other guy was doing some stuff, right? Grabbing tools and getting ready for the day or whatever, and he was outside in the yard. And he said he looked over to the truck, and there was a gentleman dressed in like their outfits or whatever, like their
Yeah.
uniforms. So there's a gentleman there standing like in full uniform, and he was smoking a cigarette. And he said he looked at him, and the guy looked at him too, and then he turned around and kind of looked at the other, looking for the other guy, and then looked back. And when he looked back at the guy, he said he just started like disappearing into nothing, like he just disappeared. And
Oh,
he told the other guy about it, and then they were talking to some of the other guys later in the day, and I guess the other guys basically confirmed that that he wasn't the first person to see that guy, and he used to be like a foreman or a supervisor that used to work there in the yard, and he had passed away. So it kind of reminds me of what you're saying, right? Like if
yeah.
that's what you do most of your life, right, or if that's what you knew
Yeah.
your entire life, like when you pass
Yeah.
away, I wonder if that's what spirits do, right? Like they return to what they know or to what they knew best, or like the place that they were at most of their time or most of their life. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah, especially for people who, like they say, some people don't know the spirits that are still in this world. Those are the people that don't know they're dead.
Yeah, yeah, I've heard that, man. I've heard that. What? That's so crazy though. Like, can you imagine if there's like the spirits that are spirits, right? Just some people that are dead and the spirits. Like, imagine what that's like to just be dead and not know that you're dead. You see all these people and you're trying to talk to them or whatever, and nobody can hear you or see you. Like,
Yep.
that's so crazy to me. You would think that after a while though they would realize like, something's going on. I'm dead. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. Oh, let me bring this up. So, I don't know if you know or if you remember, my dad's mom passed away at the beginning of the year, and if I'm correct, April. Well, last week, 2 weeks ago, my dad said he went to go put one of the dogs up in the room, and his phone all of a sudden said calling mom. So the room that this dog is in is the room that my dad's mom used to stay in there for a little bit when she lived with my mom and dad. And ever since she's passed away, there's been a lot of weird things go on in that room. My mom's tried to sage it, and when she saged it, the ember of the sage started to glow brighter and hotter, and it started going crazy. Well, fast forward to, like I said, 2 weeks ago, my dad's phone all of a sudden started to call my grandma.
Yeah, actually, I think actually she did. Yeah, Cynthia messaged me like 2 or 3 days ago, and she was telling me about this. She was like, "Hey, you should consider doing an investigation in my grandma's room or my grandma's old room." And then she was telling me the story. I was like, "And you're sure your dad didn't like accidentally call her old phone number or anything?" And she's like, "No, he said his phone was in his pocket." And then it just started, ringing, and he could hear it ringing, pulled it out, and it was calling his mom. And I was like, "Ooh, that would be
Yep.
cool. You should let me investigate."
And I mean, this land is kind of weird, man. Where we live too, it's kind of weird. That's why I said, I mean, call it coincidence or whatnot. My family, we've all talked about this, um, and they know and they think for sure that I am paranormal sensitive because I can feel a lot, I can see a lot. Because that's the thing, a lot of people that are not paranormal sensitive, they're not gonna they're not gonna see the figures. They're not gonna feel things because I can feel things and I can sense things, and I'm 9 times out of 10 never really wrong. And when we moved here, man, you would see weird things. You would feel weird things. There for a little bit, we would hear a lady screaming and crying, and I was the only one that heard it for like a week. And then my parents started hearing it, and then my grandpa finally heard it, and they were like, "Man, it sounds weird." I said, "I told you." Well, after we blessed the house, it stopped.
And you guys would hear it like in the house or outside of the house?
So it was inside the house, and we always thought maybe it was a dog. But one night I stayed up, and none of the dogs did it, and we could just hear it. And the dogs even started to get scared and like wanted to bark.
Man, that's creepy.
It is, dude. It sounds like a lady like screaming or howling or whatever.
Mm. Nah, man.
It's
If I woke up in
that's
the middle of the
scary.
night and heard that, I'd probably be scared. But to be honest, though, man, when I'm sleeping, I'm a cranky sleeper. Like if I get woken up, I'd probably be like, "Shut up, go to bed."
Right? Stop screaming! Not now, demon!
No, I mean honestly, man, that's actually pretty scary. And you guys said you blessed the house and it stopped happening.
Yeah, yeah, and that was about 3 years ago, 4 years ago.
Man, to me, I just firmly believe in this stuff. Like I have had stuff happen, and then not only that, like I'm even more of a believer now because of the investigation we did at the haunted Hill House.
Oh yeah,
And the activity that we caught on camera, like the voices, the whistling, and the things like that. And I use this app. It's supposed to be like a ghost app or something like that. I don't know how real it is. I've seen people say it's that app sucks, it's fake, it's not real or whatever. I've heard people say that we use it, but it's just we were in the house and the app said something along the lines of like, man, I'm trying to remember what it said. Like, why did you contact me or something like that? And as soon as it spit out, like, why did you contact me? We heard like this loud bang from upstairs. And I mean, like, loud enough to where the guy that I was with, John, him and I both looked at each other and we're just like, what the fuck? And he was like, bro, that was loud. And I was like, yo, that
that's
was
crazy.
loud. But I mean, it was like, it was such a coincidence, right? That it said something like that. And then there was another moment too where we were in a room, all of us upstairs, and it was telling like the little app was spitting out like leave here, demon or something like that. And it said demon, and then as soon as it said demon, there was like a ball that fell in one of the other rooms. Either it fell or something picked it up and dropped it or something like that. But I mean, it was loud and loud enough that all of us in the room heard it. We were all upstairs too, mind you, so it couldn't have been any of us. And but it was just so coincidental. You know what I mean? Like it matched all of the stuff that was going on, like all the stuff that was happening in the house. And so when things like that happen, I'm like, app might be far fetched, but at the same time, like, you know, maybe the spirits are using it to communicate in some form or way. I don't know, like I'm not
Exactly.
I'm
Yeah.
not a scientist or some, rocket engineer or something like that, but you put two and two together, you get number four. But
Yeah, exactly.
and it's just so crazy, right? Like I'm such a believer now, but it blows my mind that there are people out there that like that don't believe. But it kind of goes to show though, like the stuff that we don't believe in, like, and hear me out. A good example is people used to not believe in aliens, right? People were
Yep.
like, "Oh, yeah, aliens aren't real," yada yada yada. And then fast forward to this day and age, the government's come out and said that aliens are real. People are starting to see more like more alien sightings and stuff like that. And it's like, okay,
Yep.
we don't believe in this stuff, but then it starts becoming public, and then people like starting to believe or whatever. And it's kind of the same thing with paranormal. Like, it's very easy to not believe if you've never had those experiences, but I just feel like, there's no way that something is not real when there's so many people in the world that have had those type of experiences.
Exactly.
And it's just kind of one of those things, right? Like, how can it not be real? You know what I mean?
Yep. Yep.
So I
Yep.
don't know. I'm such a believer, man, and I'm becoming more and more of a believer of that type of stuff. And I think that stuff's so real. But I have this theory too, and I joke around about it. I was telling Katie, like, when people do investigations, or they're like, they're hearing whispers, or they're hearing a voice, or whatever it is that they're hearing, or knocking, or whatever. You know what I mean? When they're hearing that type of stuff, what if it's a ghost just messing with us?
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
what if there's just like a group of ghosts, and I don't know if you've ever seen the meme of the kid with glasses, and everybody's like behind him, and he's falling into the crowd, and they're holding him, and everyone's laughing like, oh, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I wonder if like that's what's going on, like with spirits. If there's one spirit that just like makes the loud bang and everybody's getting scared, and that spirit's just, they're all just sitting there laughing and giggling and laughing at the people
Yeah.
that are
Like
alive.
like hold my beer and watch this.
Yeah, exactly. Like, what if that's what happens? Oh man, we'll never know.
You see
But
that group of people right there? Let me scare the shit out of them real quick. Hold on, buddy.
I bet I can get this guy to run out of this house. Hold my beer.
Right?
Oh man, no, I mean, just I'm excited though to go on some more of these investigations, and hear other people's stories too. It blows my mind because there really are so many people out there that have experienced so much. And it's good to know that there are people out there that believe too. So I'm not just a big old crazy loony and believe in this stuff by myself.
Yeah. No. 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 And I always thought I was weird bringing it up to people because I'd bring it up to people and they're like, "Oh man, you're just crazy. It's just all in your head. It's all in your head." Well, you get to a certain age where you start telling yourself, "Yeah, it is all in your head," but then someone else is right next to you and they hear the same thing you hear. Just like my ex brother-in-law, we were here in the house and we could swear that we heard glass break, like a plate or something fall, glass break, and the cabinet slam. I get up, he gets up, we go towards it. There's nothing, nothing.
Hmm.
And he just looks at me and he's like, "Dude, I'm gonna go home." And I was like, "Yeah, you go home. I'm gonna go to sleep." The old apartment that I used to live in, dude. That one, I forgot about that one. The one where I lived close to Philly and Lupita. That apartment right there, I had some of the weirdest experiences, man. And that one sucked, man. That's whenever I was going through that real hard time in my life in 2020, and woo, man. And see, that's the thing. I think that's why I went through a lot of like the crazy experiences, is because I was vulnerable in my life. Like I said, I'm already paranormal sensitive, and whenever you're sensitive like that, you let your vulnerability, show. You're exposed. Your guard is down. So if you're already paranormal sensitive, you can have spirits bother you or whatever, even more.
Right.
And a lot of people don't understand that. Like, man, if you have your guard up and you say, "Oh, you can't mess with me," I'm stronger than you. You try to. If it's a weaker, like, I'm not disrespecting the spirits if there's any spirits listening to me. um, but if it's a weaker spirit that really can't get to you, and you have a strong guard, you're okay, you're good. But if it's one of those Billy Badass ones, like no matter what you do is gonna mess with you, like the Annabelle doll or whatever, hey man, you're gonna get messed with regardless.
Evil entities, they don't care.
No, they don't.
Demonic
They don't
entities, I
care.
guess I should say.
Yeah, they're there for one thing and one thing only, and that is to harm you.
Mm-hmm. Harm you, haunt you, possess you, whatever. whatever it is that those things do.
Yep.
Mm. Did you see a bunch of crazy stuff in that apartment, or what kind of stuff did happened?
One night. So the crazy stuff, yeah. The one night, mind you, this was down from a nursing home. Literally, I'm right next door to a nursing home. When COVID was going on, they were having patients die like crazy. And one night, I get off of work. This is when I was working 15, 16 hours a day. Get off of work, drive to the apartment, got my dogs with me. Right as soon as I'm getting to the end of the street, because my apartment was at the end of the street, there's a black figure. I turn my high beams on, it disappears. Put my low beams on, and I could have swore I saw it again. I'd put the highs on, nothing. Well, I get off the car. I park the car, get off the car. Me and the dogs get out, and my dogs are scared. My boy dog Bill, his hair is standing up. Like he like sees something and he's growling. And I'm like, hey dog, I ain't trying to deal with this. I said, let's go inside. Like, come on, let's go inside. Like I know what I saw, and I know there was something there. So I was like, hey, chill out. Well, another night I could just hear whispering, like whispering. I heard voices, and I was like, man, what the hell? And I could just hear it, just hey, it was like that. And I mean, I think that night I stayed up because I was just so pissed off because I couldn't sleep because I just kept hearing it. And my mom, every time she went into my apartment to check it when I was on the road, she's like, "Man, I just don't like the way it feels in here. Something just feels off." And I'm like, "Yeah, I felt that."
That is so creepy, man. The voices thing always get me because they're so quiet and you can't ever like make out what they're saying.
Nothing,
And
nothing.
unless you like record them or something, which just brings me to like when we were doing that investigation, we caught some pretty cool EVPs. At one point in the night, we were downstairs. We had already gone upstairs, right? So we were downstairs, and we were basically like communicating with the spirits upstairs. And I was pointing the camera upstairs, right, and just communicating to whatever was upstairs messing with us.
Yeah,
And I remember at one point, like you hear it clear as, well, I wouldn't say clear as day, but John and I were the only ones that heard it. And like we heard, come here, right, in a whisper. And it sounded like a little girl's voice. And we heard it, but nobody else did. I want to say
hell no.
Katie and Josh were talking, and Joe was kind of behind them. And they were just kind of, they were talking about something real quietly. And then like John and I just heard, come here, right, in a girl's voice. And I was like, did you hear that? And he's like, yeah. Did you hear that? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, it sounded like a little girl's voice. And I was like, yeah, it sounded like it said, come here. But we weren't 100% confident. So fast forward to when I was editing all the footage and the audio, and I was going back through the audio, and, I wouldn't say clear as day, but pretty good. You can hear it say, come here. Right. So then
Yeah, you can make it out perfect.
then I slowed it down, right, for the, for the video, and I put it in the video, and it sounds so clear where you can just hear it say, come here. And I was like, ooh, girl.
Hell no.
Bro. And
Yeah.
it was things like that, too. Like, I was going back through the audio, and there was things that I caught that we didn't hear, like, in person or in the house. Like, it wasn't until I went back through the audio, and I heard it, and I was like, oh, snap. I didn't hear that.
Oh yeah. Oh man, I need to send you this video. I need to get it off of my parents' Ring camera. After one night I get off of work, it's the night that I saw the figure. There we go. That's right. It's the night I saw the figure. So I get to the parents' house, get my dogs because they took care of them. As I'm walking out, there is a weird thing that flies off of the Ring camera, and you can see the trail. It goes down and goes up, and at the same time, the lights on my car turn off, turn back on, and I think they turn off and turn back on again. And I'm just standing there looking at my car, like, what the hell is going on?
Bro, you have to send me that. I'm going to throw it in the
Uh,
video.
yeah. I need to send that to you, man. That's one of those weird things that we've caught, and I'm just like, golly.
I'm telling you, man. That stuff is so crazy when you experience it. But you can't make everybody believe though. One of my friends that I took with me to the Haunted Hill House, Joshua, he he's not a skeptic, which is so weird. He believes in the paranormal, but he was a skeptic about this house. And I think he was a skeptic because, I mean, obviously, like, people that know that these houses are haunted, say, for example, the Conjuring house,
Yeah.
they charge money for people to do investigations at these houses. And nobody lives there. They literally use them, for people to do investigations because they know that they're severely haunted.
Yeah.
And he was like, I just don't believe it because, they're charging money for people to do investigations there. He's like, and I don't know if they have stuff in the walls or they've got this and that set up or they've got all these
Like
crazy
it's
things.
bugged.
Yeah, like it's bugged, right? And I just kind of, I don't disagree with him because he's right. If there's people out there that genuinely just want to make money off of this type of stuff, they probably do that or can
Do
do
that
that.
tomfoolery.
Yeah, and you just kind of have to like have faith that they're not doing that. But like with the type of stuff that we experienced there, I 100% believe that it was real. But he was like, we were driving back the next morning, and he was like, I'll admit there was some stuff I can't explain, but I'm still not convinced. I think I'm still skeptical. I don't think any of it was real or whatever. And yeah, I can't argue with him, because we don't know for sure that stuff, it's not rigged or whatever, but we also don't know that it isn't either. And when there's so many people that catch so many things on camera, it's so hard not to believe that stuff's real. Like the same house, I saw a picture earlier that someone posted, and I think it was a while back because the picture quality wasn't that great, but a couple took a picture in front of the house, and you could clearly see like a shadow figure standing behind them with a hat. Like it was a round hat, like an old style hat, like a
Like a
top hat.
40s hat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, or even
exactly.
older than that. Okay.
Yeah. So and you could see the shadow figure behind them, and so I zoomed in and you could see it pretty clear. And it's like, man, it's so hard not to believe this type. And obviously, there's Photoshop and you can layer photos and there's stuff like that. But I mean, why
Yeah.
would you go through the time to do that? Like, not a lot of people believe in this stuff, and you're not going to convince anybody by, photoshopping a picture. So it's better just to post a genuine. I don't know. Just to me, it's not worth the time or the trouble. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Why do all that effort for a lie? Even though a lot of people do it, but still, why are you gonna want to lie about something like that
Exactly.
and do all that effort? That literally you're just you're wasting your life force on something like that.
Exactly. So I mean, it's stuff like that, right? That just kind of bring me back to my original statement. Like, it's so hard to believe that somebody rigs stuff like that when people do
Yeah.
actually catch stuff like that on camera, because you can't fake that. You know what I mean? You can't fake a shadow man. And so I don't know. He 100%. He's like, any place that you go and investigate that charges you, I'm skeptical about it. And I'm like, hey, I understand, I get that, but at the same time, if it
It's a
was,
valid point.
yeah, but at the same time, if it was my house and I knew it was haunted, boy, I would be stacking in that cash. Like, y'all come investigate
Exactly.
whatever
You'd have
y'all
people from
want.
all over.
Yeah, you bring all the teams. Go ahead, I don't care. I'll charge you guys. I'll charge you guys entry fee. I'll make you coffee, donuts, whatever you want.
Whatever you want, but at night, whenever you come to investigate, you by yourself, baby.
Yeah, yeah, baby. I'm outside. Catch me outside. And then when
Catch me
y'all leave,
outside. How about that?
yeah, and then when y'all leave, I'll be in there like, Satan, it's me, your boy.
Your boy. Hey, demons, it's me, your boy. God damn.
Oh man. Well, I mean, shoot, man. And did you have any other experiences outside of those houses? It sounds like you've had quite a few things happen.
Dude, I have, and one of my actual childhood home. This is when I kind of really knew that things happened, or like things were really crazy. 7, 8 years old, we lived in Southward, lived in a trailer house. Mind you, this house, the windows, at best, maybe about 5, 6 feet up, give or take. I don't know. I mean, that's years ago. I don't remember that house. I don't think it's even there anymore. And that's one of those ones where, as a kid, I've yeah, this is one. It's all starting to come back to me. Now that I'm thinking about it, That's one of those things you don't really forget. You just lock it away in a further place because you don't really talk about it because people think you need to be in a loony bin.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there was a real hard hit on the window, and right as soon as it happened, I told my dad. Man, he ran outside. He checked the house. There was nothing. Um, One time, the bathroom light turned on by itself in that house. Mine and my sister's bathroom. Dude, I freaked out. I was scared. I closed my eyes, covered my face with the blanket, turned the other way, and I was scared. That room too, there was red eyes in there. I saw the red eyes. They from the ground all the way up. That one right there, I'm getting chills thinking about it because that one at that age, man, that's the one that really kind of freaks you the fuck out. And it was a perfect figure with red eyes. I closed my eyes for a long time and just say, please go away, please go away, please go away. And I open my eyes and it's gone. And you can just hear like the carpet, if somebody drags their foot, you hear like a weird rustling sound from a long pile carpet. And that house, that one for sure. And whenever I did a lot of the hot shotting, I would see a lot of stuff, man. You know, I wouldn't say it's paranormal. I would say it's part of the alien spectrum. You'd see a lot of weird things in the sky because you go to certain parts of these highways where you're on the road for miles and there's no city lights, nothing, no light contamination. It's just you and maybe another 5 cars, and you just see random things in the sky. And that's one thing a lot of people don't understand. Just like when we went on our baby moon in Ruidoso back in August. Oh man, dude, you just at the top of that mountain where we were at, you could just see stuff in the sky.
Hmm. Man, that's just one of those things that, like, something that I would love to see, but at the same time would not love to see because I'd probably be like, oh shit. But you hear those
It's one of those
stories.
oh shit moments.
Yeah, yeah, and you hear those stories of people that are like driving down the highway at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, and then they see the woman in white, right? Like that's like a very popular story that people have talked about,
Yep.
that I've heard multiple times over the years, and like that's just one of those things where I would just like love to see that because one, I'd get to see the woman in white, and two, it's
Yeah.
another experience I get to add to my tool bag, but um that's just one of those things like I've heard stories about and like I've never seen it, but then I try to think about what I would do in that moment. Like if I did see that, what would I do?
Yeah.
Um
Exactly.
and I almost think to myself like, man, I'd swerve. I hope she's a ghost cuz I'm going to hit her.
Yeah.
you,
30 points, bitch.
you ain't coming home with me. You
Yeah. Nah, next thing you know, she gonna be in the passenger seat.
Oh, hell no. I'm
That's
sorry.
always my worst fear, dude.
I'm sorry. I couldn't see. I didn't see you. My bad.
My parents, I'm telling you, they have quite a bit of experiences too. And I know one not that long ago, they were driving back from either Wichita Falls or Dallas, and they were getting around the Matador Paducah area, and that area. You need to probably try to see if you can talk to people from around the Matador Paducah area. Mind you, this is another one of those Indian stomping ground areas. There's a lot of stuff that people see down there. My parents, they saw a demon figure from the torso up with no legs on the side of the fence.
Hmm.
And my dad said that gave him the chills. That is the first time he's seen something like that. And then, me being, hotshot driver for such a long time, long nights, long days, no sleep, constantly driving. I'm sure you can listen or ask a couple of truck drivers that, did it for a long time. There's that story of the black dog.
The black dog.
The black dog. I know they made a movie about it years ago with Patrick Swayze in them. When you're you're sleepy. Truck drivers get sleepy and they see a black dog and they swerve to avoid it. And 9 times out of 10 they wreck. And you usually get a premonition of a black dog when you're really tired or something bad's going to happen. You you see a black dog or you think you see a black dog, and like I said, that's usually kind of a foreshadow of, hey, something bad's gonna happen.
Hmm. Bro, that's I don't know. I don't know if I'd swerve though. Like if I saw a dog in the road, you know, as bad as this sounds, I'm taking that fucker out. Like I'm not
Yeah,
swerving and
yeah,
wrecking for you. Like I'm
yeah.
sorry,
That pooch is
puppers.
going Mimi.
Yeah, I'm sorry, puppers. I love doggies, but sayonara.
Yeah, yeah. But that's why I say, that's just one of those things when you're really really sleepy tired. You know, I'm I remember you'd have those long drives every now and then you'd call me. You're sleepy, you're driving. You just try to stay awake until you got closer to home. I know I'm saying. I know the feeling of the flinch. You're falling asleep, dozing off, and then you flinch. That's kind of like the black dog. It catches you right there, right as soon as you're gonna hit the flinch. And when you hit the flinch, you see the black dog. You're like, oh shit, and you kind of tense up. You kind of want to jerk the wheel a different direction.
Mm. See, I never experienced the flinch, but I always did. Like I feel like I always did a pretty good job at keeping myself awake. So like
Hmm.
when I'm really really tired and I'm driving, like I'll be like shaking my leg to no avail and just moving it, messing with stuff, eating sunflower seeds. But then like I'm pretty good. Like if I'm too tired, man, I'll pull over and take a nap. Um,
Yeah.
and Katie has been along for the ride on quite a few of those times. Like when we've been driving before and I'm like extremely tired, I'll just pull over and I'll take a nap. Or if she's not as tired, like she'll drive. But I've done that pretty often, especially when I was working in the oil field. Like you were saying, I would call you guys if it was too late and I had been up for like 24 to 30 hours or whatever. I would just pull over and sleep, 3 or 4 hours, and then I'd finish my drive and get home. But I never had the flinch experience, but thankfully I didn't, because I'm telling you, if I saw that black dog, that's probably why the bad luck is there. Or I would probably get the bad luck because I'd hit that thing.
Yeah. Yeah. True. True.
I'd take that thing out. Drag it all the way home.
That some bitch still be alive.
For real, man. I hope that dog can hold on because he's coming home with me. Baby, I brought home
instead
another
of
dog.
instead of can I pet that dog? It's can I hit that dog?
Oh man, you know, my, speaking of things on the side of the road, my uncle told me a story. Now, granted, I don't know how true it is, but so you're familiar with like Muleshoe, Texas, Bovina, stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah, because we used to deliver to the John Deere there in Mission and Clovis. Damn it.
Okay, so if you've ever driven from like um, Friona or even Bovina towards Muleshoe, you pass like that big dairy, and then after you pass the dairy, like there's a pretty big draw. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, yes, sir. I do.
Okay, cool. So it was
I don't like
my
that draw.
yeah. The draw's pretty creepy, right? And it's a big old draw too.
Yeah, because there will be fog there sometimes, and then there's not. So
Yeah, actually, that relates to the story I'm about to tell. So good, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
yes, I
So,
do.
so my uncle, so it was my uncle Abel, who has now passed away. My uncle David, I believe it was either my uncle David or my uncle Michael, I can't remember, and my dad. This was back when they were like way younger. I mean, probably maybe early 20s, late teens, like 18, 19 maybe, I don't know. But story has it they went to Bovina for some dance or something. I'm not exactly sure. Don't remember the full details. But they were on their way back to Muleshoe, and on their way back, they were going down the draw, and it was late, like super late at night, like 1 or 2 in the morning or whatever. And they were going through the draw, and they said it was really foggy. Well, they said they were driving down the draw, and they saw a woman in white walking on the side of the road.
No,
And
hell no.
they slowed down, and we're like, what the fuck? So they slow down, and they pull up next to her. And when they get next to her, my uncle said that she was barefoot, wearing a white dress, and it was just like this really pale woman. And she was just looking straight forward, and she had this like big grin on her face that was just like this real ominous grin, right? And
Yeah.
he said they all got freaked out and was like, yo, hit the gas. Like, let's get out of here. So they took off. So they said as they were coming up the draw, it was still foggy. And he said they were coming up the draw. And as they were coming up the draw, the woman just appeared out of nowhere in the fog right in front of them. And then right before they hit her, she just disappeared.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I was
Nah,
like,
hell no.
ooh, bro. If I saw that, boy, I'd never take that route. I'd go the long way.
Mm-mm. Nope. 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 Even if the long way takes me an extra 15, 20 minutes, it's gonna take me an extra 15, 20 minutes. I am not trying to see that bitch again.
And I say this, right? I say all of this now, but here I am going and investigating houses like
Yeah, true.
it ain't nothing. I'm just a dumbass, whatever. I got my
Just
next
trying to get that
investigation.
content, baby.
Yeah, baby. Got that next investigation coming up too. It's gonna be fun. That one's
Ooh,
it's a real spooky house. It's called the Sally House. You ever heard
it's
of
gonna be
it?
a little spicy.
I hope so. It's in Kansas. Atchison, Kansas, I think is the
Oh,
name.
dude, Kansas, just the whole state of Kansas, just throw it away. It's just haunted in general.
Bro, honestly, yeah. There's I've been coming across quite a few houses in Kansas that are, said to be extremely haunted. Like there's another house, I want to say it's a little bit more north in Kansas. I'm trying to remember what the heck it was called. I can't remember the name of it, but according to Facebook comments, Tech9 went to this house once. But anyways, staying on subject here, there is a ton of houses in Kansas that are said to be haunted, bro. I don't know what's going on with
Oh yeah.
Kansas. I don't know if there's just like a lot of people that, do some witchcraft or some witchery up there or, satanic rituals
Well,
or whatever, but damn.
well, you also got to understand, Kansas. That's a big area too for Native Americans, or was. That's the prairie lands right there, my brother. A lot of that shit happened around there. So I know Kansas City, Kansas. There's a lot of haunted places over there, from what I've heard. Dodge City, liberal, for sure, liberal Kansas. And I know it's small, but that would be maybe somewhere to maybe check, see if there's something there. But I know Dodge City for sure. Like I said, Kansas City, Kansas. You can even go into Missouri, obviously Kansas City, Missouri. Um, I forgot. Somebody else was telling me. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I've known about the Kansas shit, like the scary shit. So that's why I'm just confirming with you. Yeah, Kansas. Just throw the whole state away. It's just scary.
Facts, man. Facts. There's so many houses out there. But yeah, I'm doing this Sally house in Kansas, January 19th. And I'm pretty excited about this one. It's pretty crazy. It's got some pretty crazy backstories. There's a story that between ownership or I think when the previous owners to the current owners had they moved out because of all the activity in the house. And when they moved out, there's a story that says there was nobody vacating the home, and some people broke into the basement and were doing satanic rituals in the basement. So there was a pentagram that was drawn in the basement, and obviously the current owners, I guess they burned it out of the concrete, or I don't know how they got it out, but you can still kind of see like the outline of it.
Yeah.
So supposedly story has it that like some people opened up a portal in the basement, but I've seen so many videos of this house and like there's so much activity and so much crazy stuff. So I'm like, ooh, it's gonna be a
Yeah.
good one. But I don't get my hopes up though, because I'm like, what if I go and nothing happens?
Yeah, and it's just booty McAss cheeks, man. There's like nothing there, and you're just like, well, this is a waste of time and money.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a hobby, I guess, So,
Yeah, you're gonna have your hits and your misses. I have a quick question for you. So I've heard about this years and years ago. Have you heard about that house in Lubbock off of Woodrow Road that is abandoned?
Yeah, dude, that house, I think you can rent it on booking.com. Like you can book a stay there on booking.com.
Okay, it's that two-story red brick house.
Yes, yeah. So it was this was probably maybe 3 weeks back or about a month ago. I had the itch to do another investigation, so I was just looking up like anything close to me that I could go to. Like
Yeah.
I was looking in Lubbock, I was looking in Cloudcroft, Ruidoso, like anywhere in New Mexico. Like, dude, I was on the hunt, and I found a few stories about the Woodrow House, and like I started looking to see if there was like a Facebook page or there's a website or something where I could like contact the owners and maybe book an investigation. I couldn't find
Yeah.
anything, but then out of nowhere I found a link for booking.com and I was like, no way, don't let me find out they got this thing on booking.com. Airbnb this house, haunted house, Airbnb, stay here for a night, 40, $400 a night, come get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come get spookified.
Yeah, so I got on booking.com and checked the availability and there was nothing that weekend. So I haven't checked it again. I probably should. But I would love to investigate that house. I have heard of that house and it'd be freaking awesome. It does look a little creepy, but I don't know a lot about the backstory though.
I don't either. Supposedly my cousin knew somebody that lived there or something, and one of my cousins from Lubbock, he knew about it, and he mentioned something about it, that house, that it's supposedly haunted. That's why the people just left it there. It's a beautiful house, but they leave it as it is because it's haunted. There's something crazy going on right there. And then, yeah, I've never been there to Lubbock, but what is it, Hell's Gates? Supposedly you can get some creepy shit there.
Yeah, I saw the Hell's Gates, the tracks, right?
Yes, sir.
Yep, I've seen those. I thought about it. I really did because I was like, man, it's kind of free. You don't got to spend
Yeah, man.
money. But then I really started thinking about it and I was like, if I do an investigation at night, I take all of my cameras, there's some pretty sketchy looking tracks. And I'm sitting here thinking, like, with my luck, I'm going to miss one of the wooden boards or whatever, step through it, and then die. And
Yep.
then,
Yes,
that would
sir.
be pretty shitty. So I was like, I don't think I want to do that one. I'm good. I'm
Yeah,
good.
I don't want to become the ghost. I just want to film the ghost.
Yeah, I want to catch the ghost on camera, but not be the ghost, not become the ghost on camera. That I'll pass on that.
Yeah. Let me see.
There's another one that I want to go check out in Denton. It's outside of Denton. It's called Goatman's Bridge.
Yes. Yep. Uh-huh. Yep.
Yeah, I'd like to go check out that one, but it's really tough finding people to go with me. Like, don't get me wrong, I'll go by myself, but that's no fun. It's no fun. I've got two cameras too. Like I want multiple angles. I want to get some good footage. And dude, I'm one guy. I can't think of all the questions to ask, and it's not as interesting when it's just one person
Yeah.
experiencing something. So like, it's really hard to find people to go. And half of the time, I'm like, bro, I'll pick you up, pay for the gas, whatever. Like, just go with me. Just be a body.
Yeah. Yeah, because say if it was me being the only guy, I'd ask the stupid question because I wouldn't know what to ask. Be like, "Demon, what's your favorite color? Oh, you
Red.
like you like purple? Oh no, you said red. Oh, why is red? Oh, Hellfire red. Okay,
Yeah, red motherfucker.
it'd be some shit like that, man. I wouldn't know what to ask. Be like, what did you do for supper last week? Like I don't eat, only souls. Like, oh shit, okay.
Got ate
I
some
don't know.
souls. Took them with
Yeah.
me.
Feed me them precious souls, baby. But that's why you got to take somebody that's a ginger because obviously they have no souls.
Yeah, you're not wrong there. I haven't met very many gingers though, so I can't speak from experience.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Understandably.
No, man, there's quite a few haunted places out there, and it's intriguing. There's lots of places to investigate. 2024 is actually going to be pretty cool because I've got. I mean, obviously, I don't have the whole year planned out, but I do plan on doing like 3 to 4 investigations there in the first quarter or so.
Hmm.
One big one that I really, really want to do is the Waverly Hills Sanatorium. But
Oh,
bro,
yes.
I don't understand why these places are so expensive. This thing's like $1,000, bro, for a night
No shit.
for like
No, no, thank you.
6 or 7 hours. And don't get me wrong, like I'm gonna pay it, but I don't want to pay it. Six seven
Yeah.
hundred dollars, bro. It's expensive.
God. Lee, brother.
And then the Conjuring House, dude. The Conjuring House is like 1350 or something like that.
Lord have mercy. They be getting paid.
Yeah, bro. And it's in I don't know how I forgot this, but it's I don't remember where the hell it's at, what state it's at, but it's Connecticut maybe, I think, or something like that. Anyways, it's way up north. So I mean, we're talking like a 28-hour drive or 30-hour drive just to get there, and then if you don't drive, you're talking about flights and
Which are
when
expensive.
which are expensive. And then when you start talking about doing an investigation, it makes more sense to drive because who is going to join me on an investigation and pay for their own flight, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So then driving makes the most reasonable sense, and it's like a 2-day drive. That's pretty crappy.
See, but but let's veer off the topic of that. That's when, if it's going to be a 2 day drive, that's when you leave for a full week or for 4 days or longer to enjoy the drive up there. So it's just not like, oh, hey, it's a 2 day drive. Let's make it in 2 days, and then we're here for this investigation 1 or 2 days, and then leave.
Yeah,
Make it a thing. You along the way, you're gonna find a lot of creepy places.
yeah, yeah.
So you could do, little side quests like, oh, hey, let's figure out what ghost is haunting this place. New achievement unlocked.
Fair point. Fair point. I don't know, man. It's just like I said. It's real hard finding people that are interested enough in paranormal to like want to join me on these investigations. And the hard part is like the further ones, right? Because then it becomes more expensive, and then it's more time off from work. And luckily, I've been blessed enough to have a career that gives me tons of PTO, but not everybody has that, right? Like not everyone has a ton of PTO availability, and economy's pretty shitty. Money's not.
That's what I was about to say.
Money's pretty scarce for a lot of individuals, and I feel like I've been
Yeah.
lucky enough to have some finances in line to be able to do this stuff. So it's just hard finding people to be able to go with me and stuff. And I think what I'm gonna have to start doing, and I don't know how to go about doing it, to be fair, but like probably gonna have to start collabing with like other people, maybe like other podcasters or other investigators, or something like that, like people that do this type of stuff as well.
I'm gonna
To
call you a
have them join.
sellout. I'm gonna call you a sellout. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I ain't no sellout, bro.
No, no, man, I understand. It'd be financially smarter in a way, and it would. I'm not trying to say that, like, hey, you collab with somebody, and it gets you bigger. Yeah, it'll help you, but you'd already, you have your own thing, and you weren't really looking forward to doing it. But hey, the opportunity arose, might as well just do it.
Well, and so like the thing for me is it's not even about like getting more views, or it's not about like getting more like any money or anything like that. It's not about any of that. Like the reason I say collab is because like I feel like if there's people that are already doing this type of stuff, they're not going to say no to doing another investigation. Because the problem that I have right now is, dude, I have messaged so many people, like boys and girls alike, and I've been left on red. I have been replied back to with fuck no, or I don't mess
Oh,
with that shit, or nah, I'm too chicken shit. I've had people that say they're down to go, and then like last minute, like, and I wouldn't say last minute, but like, a week later are like, hey, I can't go actually, or whatever. But
yeah.
I've had the
Well, I
works.
waited for you on that Bledsoe house.
Oh, dude, I've been reaching out to Mike and asking him about it, but so basically what he told me, yeah, I was gonna do it a couple of weeks ago when I messaged you about it. I was gonna do it,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
yeah, so I messaged him and I was like, hey, do I just roll up to this house and do the investigation, or how do I go about it? And he's like, nah, don't do that, you'll get shot. I was like, oh, all right, I'm not gonna do that. So he was like, yeah, no, there's some, the school's actually still used for like ceremonies and get-togethers or whatever. And I was like, oh, okay, I didn't know that. And he's like, yeah, so there's, I have a family friend that knows them, and he can get us the key. But I got to ask. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. So I bothered him, and I say bother because I probably messaged him like every day, and was like, hey, man, have you heard back from your cousin or whoever he was asking? And he was like, no, I haven't heard back. I haven't heard back. But I never heard back. So, thanks for reminding me because I'll probably bug him for another 2 weeks or something and be like, hey, homie, you said I could do it. You ain't coming through, man.
Yeah, man. Come on, bro. I'm trying to get spookified here.
Yeah, yeah, but no, I mean that's I mean honestly, bro, that's the struggle that I've been having. There's like nobody out there that really, um,
Trust, trust me, I'm more than down. Um, you know, due to the financial circumstances, that's what holds me back. But I'm more than down. If I can go somewhere, kind of close by, I will.
mhm.
As long as I know and a good ahead of time, I will. I'm telling you, I will really go because the only thing that you gotta understand with since I've been a believer for many years and I am paranormal sensitive, the only thing that scares me is one day I go and my mental state is not really there and I let my guard down and I bring something back with me. Because it's been known to happen to a lot of people. They go out on an investigation. For example, look at Zach Bagans from Ghost Adventures. Him and somebody else, they brought something back with them from one of their hardest investigations. One of their scariest, and they dealt with it for a couple of weeks.
You know,
That's
that's in
that's
the
the only thing
back
that scares me.
that's in the back of my mind, honestly, but like at the same time, I feel like I'm mentally okay. Like and hear me out. I'm not mentally okay. Like I got my shit, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
I feel like I'm mentally strong-willed enough to where like I don't know. I guess, and this is just maybe me telling myself this to like make myself feel more comfortable. Um, but like also, I'm a pretty firm believer. Like if you let something attach to you, or like you said, right? Like if you're dealing with some turmoil in your life or anything like that, it's easier for something to attach. And for me, I feel like I'm in a pretty good place mentally. My mindset is in a pretty good place, and I'm not really dealing with anything uh, emotional in my life that would make me more vulnerable to like a paranormal attachment. And then also like my mom is super religious, and I I don't mean to sound funny saying that, but like my mom's pretty religious, and if I had to, bro, I'll go over to my sister's house and my mom
Get
will
blessed and
bless
all that.
me and get rid of whatever's on me, because that woman, dude, she's got some magic. She got some powers
Oh
over
yeah.
there. Telling you,
Oh yeah.
man.
Hey man. Usually the Mexican families do, and a lot of people don't understand that.
It's the Mexican mothers, bro. They're like Debo. They Debo them ghosts.
Yes, sir.
Literally. My mom pull up, it sounds like a bike squeaking. She'll be like, hey, ghost,
This my son, punk.
this my chain. Nah, man. I don't know. I guess that's, I don't know. It's in the back of my mind, but it's not really, it's not, I guess I don't think it's something that I'm too concerned with yet. I guess we'll see, because we did this Haunted Hill House, and, Katie and I came home, and we kind of everyone says that people have like nightmares and stuff after the house. We came home, I slept like a baby. um didn't hear nothing, didn't have any
Unbothered,
nightmares. Yeah.
unfazed.
Unfazed. I live with my own demons. I ain't scared of none. But
True.
yeah, I mean, we didn't deal with anything like that. But the guy, the owner, or one of the co-owners of the house, he did rubbed some holy oil on us before we left and kind of like blessed us or whatever. And he did advise us from his experience, that like holy water doesn't really work. The only thing that they have found that works with attachments is like holy oil, which again, right, paranormal is kind of uncharted territory. You don't really know
Yeah.
what works and what doesn't. But hey, I'll try it. So I ordered me some holy oil off of Amazon.
Oh wow, it was blessed by a Nigerian monk.
Yeah, bro, that shit was blessed by a man in the Amazon warehouse. He said "sana sana colita de rana" and put it in a box and sent it on its way.
Hell yeah! It's just a really watered down Vicks. So yeah, hey, Vicks cures everything. It even cured a broken leg one time. So
Bruh, I'm gonna open that thing up and be like, God damn, I can hear my mom in the back of my head saying "Ponte pinche Vicks."
hell yeah, hell
Oh
yeah.
man, nah, man, it's I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully, I can find some more people. Like I found a few people, like a few people that are down to do these investigations and stuff. And again, right, like it's a lot of people, like you said, right. The economy's pretty shitty. Finances are hard these days, and I understand that. So maybe maybe I'll find more people as I continue to do this, and as I continue to like schedule out a little further. But I think eventually I'll have to like collab with somebody because I think there might be like one day I plan an investigation and I don't have anybody to go with me, so we'll just kind of I'm just kind of playing it by ear to see what happens. This next one in January, I have some people lined out, so like I have some confirmations that said they will, but that doesn't mean anything, right? Things can change, plans can change, people can cancel, life happens.
Always,
Yep,
yes, sir.
yep, all the good stuff. So as of right now, I'm good, but I do want to plan another one at the end of February. Actually, I reached out to the people, the owners of that other house in Kansas, and asked them about availability, and they said obviously because of the winter time, pipes freezing in the winter and stuff like that, that they don't, they're not currently booking any overnight stays. But once they get the summer schedule out, they'll send me an email so that I can try and get on the schedule. So I was like, cool, just let me know. You know what I'm saying? You need a heater? I'll bring a heater for them pipes, boy.
Hell yeah, big
Yeah.
old torpedo heater.
Yes, sir. Bring that down there. I'll turn that sucker on underneath the house. Try not to let it catch fire. You know what I'm
Hey, it's all right. Fire's good, especially for the demons. They enjoy that shit.
saying? Just like home.
Hell is hot, but our world is cold.
Fair enough. For the listeners, David and I have been friends for wow, over 10 years, like 12 years now, right?
Oh, brother, we've been friends since what, 17 years old, 16, somewhere in there.
Yeah, I think man, I think I might have. We might have been 17 because I'm pretty sure I was a senior in high school whenever we met.
Yeah, you had your black Mustang that you showed off for one of your girlfriends, and you put it in a ditch.
We don't talk about those type of things, David.
I remember that every time I go to Walmart, go down that back road. I remember it. I was like, I told my girlfriend, I was like, yeah, that's where Sammy Joe put his car at. She's like, what is he doing? I was like, nobody knows what he's doing.
You know what's funny? Katie brings that up every now and then. She'll be like, "Yeah, you were showing off. You wrecked your car."
How the hell does she know? You
I
told her?
mean, I told her. She knows everything. Katie knows everything. But
Oh man, dude, how you know what? It's like we say, how do people wreck X amount of horsepower? How the hell could you wreck a Mustang with like 185 horsepower?
bro, there was rocks on the road. It was like gravelly.
I know, I
One, I
know.
didn't know the road. I didn't know there was gravel there. But
Dude, you said, hold my sonic drink and watch this, girl, and boop,
that is
Mustang
exactly
things.
what I said. Good God, I probably traumatized that person for life. They probably never want to be in a car that goes 10 to 50 in like 20 seconds ever again.
Yeah, yeah, true, true.
Oh man, cool. All right, let me pull up these Reddit stories. I just put on my reading glasses,
I just took mine off.
dude. I can't see without these things, man. Astigmatism is crazy.
Yeah, trust me, my left eye is worse than my right, and I hate it.
Mm,
That's
mm,
literally what
mm.
these glasses are for. Is just literally for reading. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you are of a younger audience in your 20s, get your eyes checked. Take care of your eyes, please.
Man, that's exactly why I got my eyes checked because I would drive at night, and I guess so. Here's the dumb thing: I never went and got my eyes checked. And there was even one point in time that I went to renew my license, and the guy was like, "Bro, your eye, like, can you see?" And I was like, "Yeah, I can see." And he's like, "Can you read that again?" And I read it again, and the guy was like, "You barely passed, bro. Like, you
God.
barely passed." And I was like, "My eyesight's fine." And then a few years later, I'm driving at night, and I guess I'm just having trouble looking at the signs. Like, the signs look blurry and stuff. And I was like, maybe I should get my eyes checked. So I went in to get my eyes checked, and the doctor was like, "Yeah, so you've been like blind most of your life." And I was like, "Excuse me?" And she's like, "Yeah, you're pretty blind." And I was like,
That's scary.
"Really? You don't say." And that's when I got glasses. So now I have these bifocals on my eyes, and yeah, it's pretty. I can see.
Ooh, see, I don't have bifocals, but I was gonna make a joke. I was gonna say, homeboy, you've been seeing the world in 480p. When you get them glasses on, it's 4K Ultra HD, I guess, huh?
Bro, I got that 8K with these damn glasses, bro. You pull these things off, they're like I wouldn't say a quarter inch thick, but they're about an eighth of an inch thick. They're pretty
God,
thick. Yeah,
got
man.
them Coke bottles on the eyes.
Dude, these glasses are thick. Man,
Hey, it's okay. It's all right.
they they thicker than a fat girl on a Friday night in a bar, boy.
Woo!
All right, man. Let's see here. So the first story we've got here is Nightmare Furbies, or it's by Nightmare Furbies. Shout out to Nightmare Furbies for letting me share the story. The title is The Woman in My Window. So starting out, "Come here, Christopher," I'd hear coming from the outside of my window. Every night, the same raspy voice would beckon me forwards, taunting me every move. I tried to sleep through it, but nothing works. Earbuds, I can still hear her over the blaring music. Earmuffs, she's somehow still audible. To this day, I've never opened my window nor my curtains when she tries calling me. However, one night was different. I grew weary, tired even, of the constant harassment. I wanted it to stop. I wanted her to go away. So I began to listen to her instructions and inch towards the window sill, destined to put an end to her berating once and for all. Pulling the curtains back slightly, I heard a faint sigh of relief. But as I'd unveiled the outside world, nothing lurked behind the frosted glass. A chill went down my spine, as if I had done something I shouldn't have, like an unspoken rule being broken. Shutting the curtains, I leapt into bed and pulled the blankets over my head. I couldn't bear the thought of that woman returning, especially now when I've listened to her commands. But she seemingly stopped. After that one night, after allowing myself to push through my own fears, she quit. Life went back to normal for a while. I attended high school with a rested mind, and the bags under my eyes began to clear. Everything felt right for once. Normal. Too normal, even. Worried that the woman would ever return, I told my parents about her, but to no avail. They didn't believe my story. I'd apparently lied to them too much in the past for them to automatically have my trust in a serious situation such as this one. Telling my mother and father was the worst mistake I've ever made. That night, the raspy voice returned. It was now deepened and with more of a shrill tone to it, as if it were getting weaker. "Come here, Christopher. Let me see you." It spoke from behind the curtains. Standing my ground once more, no longer afraid of the mysterious voice that stood outside the window, I crept forward. I could hear rustling coming from the trees outside as the window began to pick up. I grabbed the corner of the closed curtain and yanked it to the side. What stood outside my window still terrifies me till this very day. A thin, lanky figure stood watching me with white, beady eyes. Her long, shriveled arms and veins that popped out of her throat proved she hadn't ate in a long while. I could see a pool of drool leaking from her crooked, dry lips. She smiled, a wide, toothy grin, bearing the sharpened teeth that sat within her mouth. "Why don't you let me in?" she managed to croak out. I gasped in terror as I landed on my behind with a thud. My parents heard the noise and began rushing to my aid, but the door to my bedroom got jammed. I could hear and see the knob jiggle around as they tried to enter with no succession. "Christopher," the woman. "No," the thing muttered out. It reached onto the glass of the window, balled its hand into a fist, and slammed the glass right out of the frame, shattering it into tiny shards. "I'm hungry, Christopher." It began to hover towards me, not even landing a single foot on the floor. "Mom, Dad," I screamed, gasping at the doorknob, pulling with all of my might. But it was no use. It was almost as if the door was enchanted to stay shut. "Please don't hurt me," I screamed out and hunched over onto the door. I clasped my hands into a prayer and began to chant, "Dear Heaven Almighty, God help me within this frightful time." A loud hiss came from the other side of the room as the thing dropped from its hovering stance and began to angrily stomp towards me. Its legs bent in two different directions as it walked, as if it were mimicking human behavior, and then it leapt towards me. I could feel the teeth of the monster clasp onto my thigh as it munched on the outer skin. I began to throw my fist into its face, slamming one hand into its eye. A shrill shriek came from it as it hopped backwards and out of the window and into the night. My door to my room slammed open, and both of my parents bent down at my side, holding my thigh to prevent blood from rushing out. An ambulance was called not too long after, and I was taken to a hospital where they patched up my thigh. The doctor and my parents had some serious arguments in the hallway after I was treated. "We heard what it was. It wasn't an animal. It was talking to him," my mother screamed. "Ma'am, it's unreasonable to believe that the bite on your son's inner thigh could have been caused by anything but a small to medium-sized animal. It's not possible. Those aren't human-shaped teeth marks." Those words stuck in my head till this very day. After I was discharged and released from the hospital's care, we moved several states away to escape the creature. I hadn't heard from it since. Well, that was until tonight. "Christopher," the familiar raspy voice lured outside of my window. "Come here and let me in." I wonder if this story is real.
I don't know. The way it jumps around, it's well, not jump around, but the way it is, I have a very good like visualization of things in my head. It reminds me of like some kind of like a YouTube story, like one of those ones that scare kids. See,
Yeah.
but the way, but listen to that, how you described it, the way that sounds, that thing. If you Appalachia like that, or the Appalachian Mountains or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
the Appalachia, whatever, there is supposedly a figure like that over there, man. So that's where I get the it there, I don't know about the whole biting on the leg thing, but there is a figure like that that people warn about.
You know, I drove through the Appalachian Mountains recently.
I know you did.
When I drove from New York to West Virginia, I was driving through there. Most of it was highway, but there was this one little short stretch, probably about 50 or 60 miles, and it was nighttime already. That was like this two-way road, in this ginormous, forest infested area, kind of
Hmm.
like back road vibes. I was really hoping I was going to see something, but I didn't see shit. It was pretty depressing, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know if the story's real. Like it sounds to me, it sounds like to either this person is like a really good storyteller,
I think
or
that,
yeah, or it's scripted as hell. I don't know. I'll have to look at the
yeah,
comments here in a little bit or something and check it out. Maybe it is fake.
or they had one of those crazy nights where they were tripping off a pretty good shroom. So
The magic mushrooms.
yes,
Yep.
sir.
Yep.
But that's what I said. Like the thing, I mean, the what I was telling you about, that area, the Northeast. There is stories of creatures like that, but they could have taken it like that and was like, hey, let me church it up a little bit.
Fair point. Fair point. I don't know, man. I don't know. Let's look at a different story. Let's try another one. All right, this one is by Past Singer 9644. Appreciate you letting me read your story. The title is Woke Up to Knocking and My Mom's Voice Saying Open the Door at 3 a.m. I was home alone. Okay. First off, this is a true story and looking for anyone else who has had this. Oh, okay, true story. Let's find out. I, at the time, 18 male, was living at my parents' place and we decided to move to a new home. I awoke one night to knocking on my door and my mother's voice telling me to get up. It's time for work. The issue was it was 3 a.m. on a Saturday and I was home alone. A little bit of background on our house. It was built in the late 90s, one floor with a basement. My family lived there for 18 years. I have 3 sisters and 4 older brothers. Damn. Mommy and Daddy were getting it on.
Yeah, yeah. No, pull out game weak for the dad.
That man couldn't pull out of a driveway if he tried. No,
That's probably what happened.
no,
That's why that happened.
no offense, past singer. Just joking. Um, my brothers and I lived on the main floor, and my sisters in the basement. At this point in time, I was the only one aside from my parents living in the house. Maybe I read that wrong because that sounded so off. Anyways, my sisters and brothers would hear things in the basement, especially in the storage room and one of the rooms in the back corner. The corner bedroom's door would often open close seemingly on its own accord, and my friends and I wouldn't go near it. Bad vibes, as my friend would put it. Things always seemed to happen if one of us was home alone. Most commonly was hearing footsteps, voices, movement in the attic, basic horror movie shit. One time I heard a door in the basement slam and someone sprinting up the stairs when I was home alone. I bolted to the kitchen, I grabbed a knife, and I hid behind the counter. Several times, ankles were grabbed at night. Dark shadows were also seen in corners, the works. Back to the main topic. Last day of moving boxes out of the house, and I decided to stay at the old house overnight alone because my parents are arguably worse than a demon or nothing at all. Night alone with the Xbox 50-inch flat screen TV and the hub to myself with some Marco's pizza and a Red Bull. Sounds like a good time. I'm paranoid, so I checked the doors to the house to make sure they were locked, and even locked my bedroom door. I went to sleep around 11:30, I'd say, and was out like a light. Knock, knock, knock. My mom's voice. Honey, wake up, you're going to be late for work. Me, groggy. What? What time is it? Knock, knock, knock. Mom's voice. Honey, come open the door, you're going to be late. Knock, knock. Me, I get up and I walk over to the door. I reach for the handle and all of a sudden, ice. Chilly. I remember I'm home alone. Mom's voice. Open the door. Me. Slowly, I turned around and I looked at the clock and it's 3 a.m. on a Saturday. The doors were locked, I'm home alone, and my parents are miles away. So I backed up and I said, nope. I got my Bible and started praying. Be gone, Satan. LOL. In all seriousness, after the realization hit me, it stopped. No other noise, just terror. I asked my mom in the morning why she came back to the house last night, and obviously she hadn't. This is a genuine story, by the way, not some horror story, although it certainly felt like it. I just want to see if there's anyone else with a similar story or any thoughts on the matter. Ooh.
Oh, that's a little creepy there, bud. That's one of those mimicry fucking demons there, bud.
Yeah, man, that's pretty. Ooh, Skinwalker.
Oh, dude, me and my ex-brother-in-law saw one. That shit's scary.
Bro, I wonder where this guy lives. That's interesting. Maybe he lives in the Appalachian, and that's what he saw. Maybe that's what was trying to get him.
See, yeah, and that's skinwalker territory. From where you live to where I live, up to certain parts of Colorado. This is skinwalker territory.
I've heard. In fact, I've heard that, like, Maljamar area, where the old wind farm I used to manage is at, I've heard from some individuals that there has been known to be skinwalker sightings in that area. Now, I have never personally seen one. I would love to run one over.
No,
but
you don't. No, you don't.
I mean, I've never seen one, right? But I can only imagine, right? Like, and I guess for this story in specific, my certain thoughts go to a skinwalker. But then again, have you ever heard of what do they call them? A mimic?
Yes.
A mimic or whatever. I don't even know what a mimic is, but I've heard that before. I've heard that term before. Do you know what a mimic is?
Yeah. Well, that's what I said. I don't know specifically. I've heard it, but that's what I said. It's one of those mimicry spirits or whatever, man. It mimics everything. It sounds like whoever it wants to sound like. Somebody who you are. I guess I wouldn't be. What's the word? I'm not saying emotional to, but you have a connection with.
Right. Yeah, because I hear people tell stories about like skinwalkers, and they say that when skinwalkers are trying to lure you in, they they can mimic the sound of humans. You know, like
Yep.
when people say they're like help or whatever. Which I mean, personally, if I hear someone yelling help in the forest, boy, you on your own. I ain't helping
Yep.
nobody.
I'm gone, baby.
Yeah, I'm gonna sprint like I'm in a marathon or something, boy. But but yeah, I don't know.
She's a runner. She's a track star.
Facts, facts, my man. I don't know. To me, maybe Skinwalker or something like that kind of comes to mind, but that's creepy. I don't know what I would have done in that situation if I would have like
Shit my britches and leave.
I don't know. It depends, right? If I'm strapped or not. If I got that Glock, you know what I'm saying?
Demon, meet my blicky.
Keep that blicky on me, son.
Yes,
Yeah, I don't know.
sir.
I don't know, man. I mean, if I'm
Got a
not
9 milli and a holy bullet.
if I'm not armed, that's a different story. I probably wouldn't have opened the door, but if I'm armed, more than likely. No, I don't think I would have opened the door. I think I'd have been like, "Nah, fuck that. I'm good."
But what's really fucking scary is you think about it. He was asleep. He got woken up to this, and he replied. Or right, he replied.
Let me look at the story. Let me pull it back up. Give me 1 second.
I mean, he got up. He
Yes.
walked. He got up. He replied. That's one of the things where you're already talking to something, and that's the shitty thing is he was caught off guard. So it sounded like his mom. Thought it was his mom. He replied, "Scary." Um, yeah, but I think if he was probably more aware and awake, and he heard that, I'm more than sure. In today's day and age, depending on whenever this happened to him, you have locations usually for your family, for your parents or your siblings. That would have been my first thing. Would be like, hold on, I could have sworn mom wasn't here. Let me check my phone. Uh, Next, you see mama's not there. Then you gonna shit a brick. You can be like, why does it sound like mom, but it's not mom?
Yeah, I think if it were me, I probably would have been blowing up my mom's phone.
Yeah, yeah, literally, I would have texted her, called her, because you said it was 3 in the morning. And the thing is, if that happened at 3 in the morning, that next hour, he's gonna suffer by himself, scared shitless. Because I know I've been in a situation where that I just wake up randomly at 2:50, and then I don't go to sleep till like 3:45, 4:15, and you hear weird shit, and you're just like, God damn, what the hell? You're like, thank you, body, for waking up.
Pound back a bottle of Nyquil.
NyQuil,
Go back to
yes, sir.
bed.
Let me eat
Mm-hmm.
some of these melatonin gummies, baby. Eat some shit like
I'm gonna
that.
pretend I did not hear that and go straight back to sleep.
Just put the AirPods in and monitor your heart rate because that's happened to me a lot. Hearing shit like that, the heart rate will spike, and I am freaking out. But I try to stay calm, and I'm like, holy fuck, holy fuck, holy fuck. What was that? What was that?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't think I would have opened the door. I probably would have just been like, I don't know. I don't know, man. I've never been woken up like that, so it's hard to say what you would do, but definitely crazy story. Kudos to the dude for being brave there and realizing what was going on. Man, grabbed the Bible and
Yeah.
everything.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's read the next one. I got 4 stories, so 2 more, by the way. Oh, good. This next one is by Dry Ambassador 4784. And the title is My First Skinwalker Encounter. Okay, let's read
Ooh,
this.
sounds spicy.
Yeah, so let's see. It says, I am a 21-year-old male living with roommates who practice witchcraft. It was the night before Halloween, and I was in the living room of the 2-story apartment. I was on the top floor with my sliding glass door of my patio open, and this was happening at 3 a.m., no less at 2:59:59 a.m. I heard my witch of a roommate casting casting some type of spell or curse from his room.
We got him Leviosa.
Well, yo, if he's a man, he's not a witch, bro. He's a
Warlock
wizard.
or a
He's
wizard.
a wizard, Harry. Sorry. Anyways, let's see. I heard my witch of a roommate casting some type of spell or curse from his room because I walked past then at 3 a.m. I was on my merry way to the business center of my apartment complex, and for fear he may curse me, I'll leave him nameless at my apartment complex. Oh, I'll leave him nameless. Oof. Okay. At my apartment complex, there is a heavily wooded area near the business center. To be clear, there were no cars out, and what I heard scarred me for life. It was an unnatural, guttural scream. No animal could have made that noise. So I pointed my flashlight in that general direction and seen that terrifying sight of that skinwalker. It was in the process of transforming. That utterly terrifying sight is still vivid and fresh in my mind to this day. And when I seen the skinwalker transforming, my only instinct was to run as fast as I could, which isn't that fast because I'm a heavyset guy at 200 pounds. I ran to the business center, hid in the cubbyhole, and prayed. Then at 4, it disappeared, and I have been scarred ever since.
Yeah, no, fuck that. I can just imagine that scream in my head.
I mean, dude.
Oh god, I can hear it. I can hear it in my fucking head, dude.
Man, this next one's not real. Damn it. Alright, I'm not going to read it. I should have read these before. Sorry, everybody. I was a little unprepared for this one.
It's right. Life happens.
Yeah,
It's
but
right.
that last one, though, the Skinwalker one, I mean, first of all, my mans, what are you doing living with people that do witchcraft? I mean, no offense to the people that do witchcraft, but boy,
Keep that shit away from me.
you know, you do that in your apartment, I'll, chill in line. Cool? Ooh, that's wild. Nice all skinwalker. I guess, I wish there was a little bit more detail in that because honestly, like he says that he saw it transforming, but I would like to know what it looked like before and then like what it looked like it was transforming into. Like, was it humanoid? Was it dog like? Was it,
Exactly.
you know,
That's what I was gonna say about that. Like the transformation. What transformation did he see? What transforming? Did he see it transform from, say, the bear, wolf, dog, whatever, to a human? To the really abnormal looking human that, like what I saw, the white skin, tall, weird, lanky figure, or what did he see?
man,
It leaves a lot to imagine.
it's 9 o'clock here. Probably, I don't know what time it is wherever this guy lives, but man, I would message him and be like, "Hey, bro, any details on the description?" I don't know. Maybe I'll shoot him a message over later or something and kind of see what he says. But man, some details on the description would have been nice because I don't know. Honestly, I'm more interested in knowing what it looked like than uh, you know, the story is definitely interesting, but I'm more of a visual person, so I want to like be able to
Yeah.
visualize what it looked like in my head rather than just like the skinwalker stuff. But it's a good story for sure. For sure. That guy definitely said he what did you say? He hid in a cubbyhole, man.
Yeah, and he's a big guy, so that's pretty awesome to get that big frame in there.
Boy, I mean, hey, hold on. I've seen some heavy set dudes run, and I mean
Hey,
run.
if you watch the NFL, you're gonna see some big boys chop.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, personally though, I've seen some big boys get after it. Hell, I've
Oh
seen
yeah,
some big boys be faster than some of the smaller boys. So I mean,
yeah.
if I'm scared, to be honest with you, man, I don't care what it is. I'm chopping. Like I don't care how much I weigh. I'm running a marathon, and I'm gonna be the fastest one. That skinwalker
Oh
ain't gonna
shit,
catch me.
I'm gonna turn into Usain Bolt, my boy. Fastest man alive. He's gonna be the second fastest man because I'm the first
Yeah,
in that
yeah, boy.
situation. I'm getting the fuck out of there.
Yeah. No, these were some good stories, definitely. I wonder if the first one is genuinely real. I really need to spend some more time on Reddit. I know that there's some scary stories out there. There was quite a few that I saved that were pretty good, but I didn't get permission to share them. And obviously for copyright purposes and things of that nature, I want to make sure I have written consent before I just go sharing somebody's story. But I couldn't get it from a few of them. There was one story about the man in the top hat, which I've heard of this shadow figure before, but they never responded, so I couldn't share it. But you ever heard of that? The top hat shadow, or the top hat man, or something like that. The hat man.
Like an Abe Lincoln top hat.
I guess. Yeah, yeah, I guess so.
And no, I can't say yes, sir.
I've heard of it a few times. Like, I mean, I've obviously I read the story on Reddit, but also I can't remember who it was. I was younger whenever I heard the story, but somebody told me, excuse me, in person that they had woke up one night to go get a drink of water, and they were walking back to their room, and in the middle of their hallway as they were walking back, they saw a like a shadow man, like a very tall shadow man, standing in the middle of the hallway with a top hat. um and then I think she said she started praying and she closed her eyes and then opened it back up and then it was gone. So there was that person that told me that, but then um later on Facebook, this girl commented on one of my posts once and was sharing with me, because I think I had shared something. It was like a post somebody had made about like other people seeing this top hat man, and then it was like a very common shadow figure that people see. And she commented on it and was like, "Oh my god, like I've seen this shadow figure before. Like I've seen it a lot in my childhood and in my teen years." And I was like, "Ooh, bet." So I wonder, like, what kind of entity or what kind of spirit is wandering the world, haunting people, or just making itself visible to people that wears a top hat. Maybe it's Abe Lincoln. What if Lincoln's just bougie and out there visiting people?
Right?
I mean, I don't know how tall Abe Lincoln was, but let's look it up. How tall? Let's see. I'm gonna
Wasn't he
Google it.
like 6'3"?
I'm gonna Google this right now. How tall was Abe Lincoln, boy? That man's was 6'4". God, the
I was
tallest.
close.
Yeah, the tallest U.S. president was Abraham Lincoln at 6'4".
Yeah,
I mean,
okay.
that would explain it. My boy used to wear that top hat. He's tall.
Yes, sir.
Just the presidential spirit out there haunting people, just visiting people, blessing them with his presence. That'd be interesting.
Blessing him with his presence, fucking more like scaring the fuck out of people. I'm on the stage. Oh my god, that dude's a ghost.
Man, I don't know. I don't know what I would do if I saw that. But I mean, like that doesn't sound to me, that doesn't sound like all that ominous. Like if I saw a shadow figure with a top hat just like looking at me,
Nah,
would
man.
I be
I'm gonna be honest
scared?
with you. I ain't gonna be scared. I'm gonna be straight up honest with you. I've seen scarier shit. That top hat is not gonna scare me.
Mm,
I mean,
mm.
unless he looks like a, he has it's not a crazy top hat, but like it's. I mean, it's got some size to it, but like a '40s gangster's top hat, like then I'm gonna be like, all right, I'm about to get fucking shot up.
This is about to get real.
Hmm.
I don't know. I don't know, man. There's definitely some crazy stuff out there. The Appalachian mountains are definitely on my list of things to do a little bit more checking out.
No, hell no.
Why, bro? I'm trying
No, it's not just no, it's
to.
hell no. That is one of those places, my boy, that you got to understand. That was one of the first areas, what back in 1700s, 1600s, whatever, when they sailed to the New World and they were there with the Indians, and they were getting raped, murdered, and killed, and all that shit. I mean, um, and those mountains were there, and the Indians had some kind of weird voodoo magic all in that area. There's accounts from those hundreds of years ago I've seen figures of things going on. People walk into those woods, never return, and then people would see their figures. I mean, it's that's one of those things. Hell no, brother. Those are sacred mountains, my boy.
Mm, I'm looking it up right now. How many people go missing in the Appalachian Mountains? Each year, an average of 6 people go missing on the Appalachian Trail, which has also witnessed a total of 11 recorded murders since 1974, averaging
Holy.
yeah, averaging one every 4 years, according to the Appalachian Trail Conservancy. While these incidents are rare, they serve as a haunting reminder that even in the midst of natural splendor, human darkness can cast its shadow. Despite these tragic events, they remain outliers in the larger tapestry of the AT's vibrant history. Wow. So, on average, 6 people a year? That doesn't sound like a lot.
No, no, I really don't. But God,
I mean, bro, that's like, one person every 2 months. I mean,
yeah.
those odds don't sound too bad to me.
Until you're a statistic, you are going to be a statistic.
Statistically speaking, I have 50-50 chance here, my boy.
You will probably be the first one of the first 2 months of the year.
Oh, man. See, here's the thing. I'm going to put a model together. I'm going to look at what months people go missing in, and then I'm just not going to go hiking in those months.
God damn.
That's the
You
way
gotta do your
around it.
research. Gotta do due diligence, baby.
Yeah, my man. Just, run the numbers, boy. The numbers don't lie.
Numbers never lie.
No, man, that's crazy. No, I mean, I'd love to visit up there. Like, I mean, I've been up there, but I'd love to like visit up there. Maybe there's like a haunted house over there.
Yeah, North Carolina. That's what I think I saw. It's North Carolina area.
Bro, I would love to check out a place up there. I've heard so many stories though about the forest out there. Like always the feeling of always being watched.
Yes.
The noises. What's the folklore is never to whistle, right? You don't whistle at the
Yes.
forest.
Yes, sir.
When I was traveling from New York to West Virginia, I
You were out here
stopped.
whistling.
No, I didn't hear any whistling, but I stopped, and I had to because there was no stores, bro. I mean, no stores in sight. I mean, I was driving for hours, and I couldn't find anything. So I found I was on a highway, and there was no stores for quite a bit of time. So I found this little exit. I had to turn off the exit anyways, but when I turned off of it, there was another road that went to the right. And I took that road. It was a 2-way road, and I was like, man, there has to be a town somewhere on this back road. So I'm driving down this road for what was probably about 10 or 15 minutes, and I didn't see any stores. So I was like, okay, screw it. I'm gonna find me a dirt road. So I turned around, and I drove until I found the nearest dirt road that looked like it didn't go up to somebody's house, and I drove down it. Well, when I drove down it, I probably went down it, or I say down it. I should probably say up it because it went up into the side of the mountainside, I guess.
Yeah.
And I drove up it for probably 2 or 3 miles, and I found this perfect little spot where there was some logs cut and some trees that were falling, and then there was a creek right next to the road. And I turned around, I got out, and I took the most monstrous piss I've ever taken in my life. And as I was peeing, I swear, it was the most eerie silence ever. I took a video, not of me peeing, but I took a video of the forest, and it was just so eerie. It was silent, right? You could hear the leaves kind of whistling a bit.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
But it was just so eerie, and I'm sitting there using the restroom, and I'm looking around, and when you kind of got the heebie-jeebies, and you're just kind of looking around ooh, is something watching me? What the fuck is going
Yep.
on? So I'm looking around. Yeah, bro, I swear, as soon as I got done peeing, I just zip, hop back in the car and booked it. I was like, nah, I ain't trying to become a statistic today, bro. I'm getting out of here. And I left. But it was creepy. It was very ominous. So I don't know. That's the only experience I have out there. But everyone says you're not supposed to whistle. I thought about it. I really did. If I was with somebody, I would have been like, but
Yep.
nah, I was by myself, so I was like, I don't want to risk it. Some Bigfoot come out and tear my face off or something.
Oh yeah.
But no, man, definitely I want to get out there soon. But and definitely want to get you on an investigation with me. Maybe not this next one, considering it's in about 3 weeks, but maybe the one after. I'll see which one I can book and then what the time frame looks like, and maybe I can drag you along with me to Kansas or something.
Oh man, that would be fucking awesome.
I'll let you know. I'll give you plenty of heads up, which will be ample amount of time to
Yes, sir.
get going with me. Awesome. Well, shoot, man. I do not want to take up your entire afternoon. I understand you got a family and a baby, so I'm gonna go ahead and let you get off the phone here. I do appreciate you jumping on with me and talking with me for the last 2 hours, I think, right?
Yeah, just about. I think. Yeah, about 2 hours on the dot.
1 hour and 59 minutes. Good lord. No, man, I appreciate you. Appreciate you jumping on the podcast, Mr. David Garcia. It was a pleasure talking with you. And again, definitely need to make a trip out there to go visit you and maybe investigate your shop and your casita a little bit.
Oh yeah. See, hopefully something will arise and kind of show itself. If not, then we're just fucking liars, and we're just tripping shit.
Nah, I'm gonna show up and the thing's gonna be like, nah, get this dude out of here. I ain't moving nothing tonight.
Right. Like I don't like him. He's gonna expose me. I don't like him. I don't like the thought of it. Please get him away.
It's all good, man. We'll figure out a time for me to get out there or something. But not only just for that, but just so I can come see you too, meet your baby boy.
Oh yeah, Mr. Andrew.
Awesome, man. Well, cool. I appreciate you jumping on, and I appreciate you giving me some time, giving me some of your time tonight. So we will definitely talk soon, and I will let you get back to hanging out with your family, buddy.
All righty, I appreciate you, brother, and you have a great rest of your night. And thank you for having me on.
You too, buddy. Thank you. We'll talk soon, bro.
All right, later, brother.
Later. All right, guys. Well, great conversations with David. It was a fantastic time. Very good friend of mine. I've known David for like 12 years. Just a good person. And, honestly, just one of the longest friends that I've had. And he's been a good friend, for the last 12 years. So very, very thankful that I was able to bring him on the show, even though it was just a phone call. But very thankful that he was able to jump on the phone with us and talk with us a little bit, even though he was only here in spirit. But, his stuffy is over there hanging out with us. So awesome. Good stories. Good time talking with him. But it's going to be a great year. 2024 is going to be awesome. We've got like 3 or 4 investigations already prepared for the beginning of the year. Not only the investigations, we're going to have some other individuals on the show and some merch dropping soon, sometime in January/February. So be on the lookout for that. It'll be a small run, so we'll get some cool shirts made. I've already got the design already created, so once we have those shirts made, we'll drop the shirts and we'll launch it and let everybody who wants to buy and support buy a couple of shirts, and we'll go from there. But appreciate everybody watching. You have a good one. Happy New Year's and happy holidays. We'll talk soon.